Hey everyone, I'm Adam Harry with
JR.
We're both from BoLS Souls, and today we have something very special.
What?
We've got the new Malign Portents Age of Sigmar book, and
Yeah.
I am very excited about this whole event.
I'm excited as well. This has been
Quite the build-up.
teased for a while.
Quite the build-up, yeah.
It feels like the sort of thing that Age of Sigmar has been missing. It feels like, hey, now at last we get a sense of how the world works. We get a sense of like what's going on in it, and there's like stuff that's going on that kind of is affecting the normal people. Yeah, like that's what's really been interesting to me is like getting that perspective.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this event too. We're gonna get the 4 new models, which we'll get to. The rules are in here as well. But I'm excited about this event just from the background lore perspective of things actually have been going on behind the scenes between the mortal realms, between Sigmar and all of his buddies, and the forces of order, the forces of destruction, the forces of chaos, but
most especially
death. Nagash has been planning something, and he has the patience of the grave, and he has this massively cool plan that's finally coming to fruition, or maybe not to fruition, but it's getting to the point where people are actually starting to notice it. But it's moved along to a point where they can't stop it unless they do something. You
might be wondering why none of the other players in the Age of Sigmar figured out what's going on with Nagash's grand plan. Well, Nagash, being a master necromancer, is a master at encryption.
Hey-oh! It was a crypto. Alright, so we're going to take a look at this book. Now, unlike some of our other longer deep dive videos, we're not going to go through everything in this book.
Yeah.
We're going to hit the highlights and talk about some of the cool stuff that we liked about it, but we're not going to go page by page through the book, but we are going to go open it up and take a look. So, to start, oh man. It's, first off, this book is, I want to say 80 pages, maybe more. Let me double check here. It is, 80 pages.
80 pages.
It's an 80-page hardback.
Full color.
Full color.
Lots of the quality you come to expect from these kinds of products.
It's got points in here. It's got points for all 4 of the new characters, which we'll get to in a bit here. So it's got match play points. It's got new rules.
It's got new battle plans.
Battle plans.
It's got new.
Everything. No.
Well, it even has skirmish rules included, which is very cool because a lot of these models are really cool, and with the skirmish rules and stuff, you can like jump in with just a few of the awesome models. Yeah,
the pitch battles, narrative battle plans. What else was going on here? That's all. There's a ton of lore in the book, which was really cool. But yeah, it's also got the prophecy points, which is a new mechanic they've introduced with the Malign Portents. And we're going to talk about where that all came from real quick.
Yeah, so let's give you guys the briefest of backstory that you won't find in all of the stuff that GW has been putting out so far.
Yeah. This book, too, by the way, it is an optional rules supplement. It's kind of up to you and your opponent if you want to use this stuff, but it does say in the first couple of pages that this is an optional supplement. But we really like this stuff, and we hope that it shows up as a permanent thing for competitive play, but also, again, open and narrative play. You guys do what the heck you want because that's part of the fun.
Yeah.
So, where does this all come from? There is a really quick overall story recap, a real general one that talks about how Chaos rose up, torched the old world, Sigmar, what he did to defend and rebuild and eventually take that. Kind of wraps up the core story of Aldous Hammerhand and that whole the whole Realmgate Wars essentially, and then the time after the Realmgate Wars, and again, the alliance of all of the other factions versus the Chaos Gods that happened due to the time of Chaos, all that stuff. That we all know that kind of went south, and eventually Sigmar comes back with the Stormcast Eternals and takes over the Realmgate Wars. We know that whole story, which is
what you don't know is that after all this stuff happened, after Vandus Hammerhand is doing all this stuff. Sigmar goes up to a special chamber, which of course is named the Sigmarabulum.
Sigmarabulum.
And he looks at the high star Sigandil.
Well, before he even does that though, there's all these weird things happening. So like, there's weird signs going on in the mortal realms affecting the people.
Yeah.
Things like cobs of corn, though they peel the corn back to instead of revealing kernels, it's all human teeth. Or like cows, instead of having milk, they produce blood, and you're like, wait, that just means the cow's sick. Which is true, but
necromancers, when they would do their magics, would summon up like
a whole lot of
legion
extra
instead of just some dead bone guys.
Yeah, so all these weird little things were going on in the Mortal Realms, and it wasn't until Valdez Hammerhand himself says, "Hey, Sigmar, something's up. You really got to check this out." He's like, "Okay, you're coming to me. I'll do something about it." That's when he goes.
He goes to the Sigmarabulum.
Sigmarabulum.
And he basically throws comets across the sky, which if you've seen like the image of the stars streaking across the mortal realms, that's Sigmar's fault. And basically what he's done is he's seeded the cosmos with portents and visions and basically a system that his men can use to scry and try and divine the future.
Yeah, those comets were packed full of a substance called celestium, and celestium allows it's a powdery substance. I believe it's like a white blue powder something. That learned men can use to scry and divine the future. And so basically by doing this is why we explain this whole story, is it sets up this big conflict, because all these comets streaked across all the different mortal realms, landing in different areas, and depending on the location, the comet itself might actually be different. So if it was in the Akushi, the land of fire and iron, then it might be like a smoldering like coal stone or something like that. Anyway, these comets land everywhere in all the different realms, and then Sigmar orders his Lord Ordinators, the new hero.
Right.
He orders them to go out to these locations and start scrying. And when they get there, a lot of these places, the mages and wizards already know, like, oh, this is a special substance. So they've already started like studying this stuff. They come in and say, hey, we're with Sigmar. We're taking over, and most of them are cool with it. Most of them are like, oh yeah, sure. But every now and then there's also locations where chaos forces have moved in and taken over the towers. Or goblins. And so a fight ensues naturally.
Yeah, but all of those things are the Warscroll citadels, which have special rules that we'll get to here in a little while.
And the reason all that's important too is when Sigmar cast these comets, it disturbed everyone. And when I mean everyone, we're talking chaos gods.
Yep.
And we're talking chaos gods.
We're talking Khorne, we're talking Tzeentch, we're talking Nurgle, we're talking Slaanesh.
And the Horned Rat is also mentioned as... It's really kind of funny how they do this page. Matter of fact, we're going to show it off.
Let's show it off because it's
kind of funny.
No, hold on. Flip it back.
Yeah, so you've got all four of the chaos gods.
Khorne, Tzeentch, Nurgle, Slaanesh.
And Slaanesh, by the way, is mentioned as being chained up and imprisoned. So Slaanesh is still in the background, stuck. We don't know where yet, but it's still there. And
Probably enjoying it.
Yeah,
and then on the next page,
the Horned Rat section is this. It's like
a tiny little.
It's like
it's there.
It's a fourth of a page like the other ones, but he's like, yeah, you're over there, Horned Rat. So it's just fun because the Horned Rat's still chaos god.
All right.
So to explain, we had to explain all that to get to the rules and stuff that's going on. Again, it's going to have the reasons for each faction doing their thing. It's going to have an explanation of the Lord Ordinators, the Dark Oath Queen,
what's going on
the
in
fungal shaman, and from Destruction, and of course the
Knight of Shrouds.
The Knight of Shroud from the Lore of Death, or from the Army of Dead.
But all of that goes to set up the time of tribulations, which is where the fights take place, and that's kind of where some of the more interesting rules of the Malign Portents come into play.
Yeah, we're gonna have new battle plans, just like we've seen in other kind of expansions. Games Workshop in the summer of 2017 put out basically what amounted to a free supplement online for fighting in the realm of beasts. It was all about big models and big creatures fighting. There, in this book, in Malign Portents, you also get now special rules for fighting in the realm of death, which is super cool.
But getting to the Portents.
Yes, now we finally get to why those comments are there. What's going on with those?
What's going on with that? So they introduce a new mechanic called the Malign Portents in this book.
Yeah.
And basically, every turn, your army gets a number of prophecy points based on a number of factors, like, are you fighting in the realm of death? You get 3 extra prophecy points for free. You have a Harbinger, which is one of the 4 new models.
One of the 4 champions of the factions.
You also get 3 points. If you have a hero who is garrisoning in a Warscroll citadel, you also get 3 prophecy points, but you get 1 for every priest or wizard from your army on the battlefield. So every round you get a...
generating these extra points.
You get a d6 plus whatever your modifiers are, and you can use these points to do a number of abilities throughout your turn. And at the start of every battle round, you roll a d6 to determine what your portent is. Because, and let's show this off.
Yeah.
Because there are six pages, kind of like this one here. There's 6 pages that are full of different abilities you can do. So based on, like, are you under the sign of the Black Void, or the Bloodied Skull, or the Bale Moon?
Yeah, and actually, let's read some of these real fast.
Because some of these abilities are really cool.
Basically, if you're a 40k player or familiar with that system in 8th edition, stratagems,
Prophecy points.
Prophecy points. They're very, very similar. We're not saying they're the same. They're very similar. If you were under the Bale Moon, JR, would you choose one to read?
So, if you are under the Bale Moon, you might activate the power of the Weeping Moon, where you interpret the sign. Basically, you spend 5 prophecy points at the start of your opponent's turn. You can subtract 1 from the move characteristic and the run and charge rolls for all enemy units.
Which is pretty powerful.
Right? Pretty beefy.
Another one, the Withering Serpent. Here's a good example. The Black Spot. This is a 2 prophecy point ability. Interpret the sign in any combat phase immediately after picking the interpreter to fight. Pick an enemy hero within 1 inch of the interpreter. In that phase, reroll wound rolls of 1 for attacks made by the interpreter of that target the enemy hero. So you get reroll 1s when you're attacking that particular hero, which is, again, 2 prophecy points. You heard how many you could generate.
Yeah.
And there's 6 tables of that.
There are a whole bunch of different and like varied abilities, and it's kind of cool because you don't know which ones you're going to have access to unless you're playing one of the Lord Ordinators, because they can kind of pick.
Yeah.
But
on top of that, we also have skirmish points or skirmish battles in Shyish in the Realm of the Dead. These are extra rules. Skirmish is kind of already in the game. It's just this is more codified, specific to fighting in the Realm of Death. These are all really cool. Again, you still get the portent points,
but smaller amounts.
Yeah. And then you also can add the Harbingers to your army, your skirmish army. There are like Path to Glory rules; those are out. This works in conjunction with those to do that more. And then on top of that, you're going to get new skirmish command abilities, new artifacts of power, and mysterious terrain. Let's go ahead and read off one of the command abilities.
I've got one. Sleep when you're dead. Basically, your general can use the command ability, and in the up until your next hero phase, you can add 1 to all friendly units that start within 9 inches of your general, and add 1 to the run and charge rolls of all friendly units within 9 of your general.
Yeah. There's the artifacts of power, for the skirmish things. Number 6 here, Amethyst Skull. Subtract 1 from casting rolls for enemy wizards while they're within 12 inches of your general.
And then, of course, you can have, like, Haunted Terrain, which at the start of a player's hero phase, roll a die. On a 1, anyone within 3 inches, or at least the closest model within 3 inches, takes a d3 mortal wounds. Yeah. So, lots of interesting ways to change up the game.
There's also extra rewards from battles. For example, when you win a game, after each game, you can roll in the chart just like when you're determining the treasures you get. If you get a 12, for example, legendary hero, your general's deeds in Shyish have become legend. You earn 6 extra renown. Renown you can spend to recruit more models, which is cool.
And then you get...
There's also skirmish battle plans.
You get non-skirmish battle plans. We have a lot of narrative battle plans. There's one really cool one that we want to show off.
Yeah, this one is a narrative battle plan for Malign Portents. It's called The Twice Death. The reason we like this one the most, 1 map, 2 maps. What's going on, JR?
Yeah, this game takes place simultaneously on 2 different battlefields, and basically your army has come to hunt down the enemy army, and you kill them on this map, and then their souls go into the underworld, and then you kill them again, and if you kill them in the underworld, they die forever.
Forever. You have to smash your models. It's in the rules.
When you die in that game, you die in real life.
That's not true either. But it's a really cool idea to see this concept of the dual battlefields going on. It actually says this takes place on 2 battlefields, which
it's pretty cool.
Which is cool stuff. So again, that is a narrative battle plan. There are pitched battle plans, which we're not going to go over all those, but things like Dark Omen, that's going to have 2 objectives, and you're going to be fighting over those as well. Other special rules in there. Again, we're not going to go over all the pitch battle stuff, but Then we get into the characters.
Yeah.
Let's show off one of them at least, right?
Yeah.
So here's the Lord Ordinator.
He is Sigmar's boy.
Sigmar's boy.
As you can
here's
see,
his rules. As you can see here.
and here is a special list of Lord Ordinator specific prophecy points, things that you can do, because each one of the heroes comes with their own page of.
Let's go ahead and read some of those off too. So,
sure.
Signs from the Heavens. That's his special portent that he can go to. So let's see the good one here. Oh, he's got a couple of expensive ones. Let's read Sign of the Twin-Tailed Comet. Anybody that's familiar with the lore knows that's a sign of Sigmar. It's a 5 prophecy point ability. Interpret the sign in your hero phase. Pick an enemy unit anywhere on the battlefield. That unit suffers D3 mortal wounds or D3 plus 1 wounds if it is a chaos unit.
And you're already getting 3 points for having this guy in your army. It's pretty easy to get a couple more. But also, the Lord Ordinator is a beast. At 5 wounds and 9 bravery, he hits hard, and
he's got some cool abilities. He's got 5 attacks right off the bat, 4 to hit, 3 to wound. But what's really cool, they do 1 damage, so not terribly impressive there. But he gets a lot of attacks, no rend. But if he hits, when he's hitting, if he rolls 2 6s to hit, he also causes D3 mortal wounds to a unit within 1 inch, to an enemy unit within 1 inch.
Absolutely.
Which is cool.
And he makes your war machines fight a lot better as well.
Yeah, he makes your war machines get a +1.
Yeah, and with the command abilities, they can shoot twice.
Yeah, which is pretty awesome. So, hit rolls for order war machines get +1. They're 6 inches of it. If they're wholly within 12, they can fire twice.
Yes.
You can nominate one. That's his command ability, Ring of Fire.
Which, pretty spicy.
Yeah, let's check out one more here.
Let's show off...
we got to do the Fungoid Cave Shop.
Absolutely.
It's probably one of our favorite named characters here with the, what was it?
Snazgar Stink Mullet.
Stink Mullet. Almost makes me want to make a Night Goblin.
Right? He is a powerful wizard of his own right. He can, once per battle, eat a special mushroom that puts him into a trance. He loses the ability to attack with his weapon in exchange for being able to unbind, to reroll failed cast rolls and unbinding rolls, and he can try one more spell this round. He's also covered and protected by mushrooms and knows a cool custom spell that if you cast it successfully, deals D3 mortal wounds to each enemy unit within D6 inches of him,
which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
He again has his own chart, Signs from Gorkamorka. He's got this one here, Sign of the Death Cap. Interpret the sign of your hero phase if the interpreter consumed their Death Cap mushroom, which JR just mentioned, in the previous hero phase. The effects of the Death Cap mushroom last until your next hero phase. You can use this sign again in the future turns to maintain the Death Cast effect even longer, provided that you have sufficient prophecy points to do so. That only costs 2 prophecy points, but basically if you pop your shrooms, you could just keep that effect going.
Keep freaking out for the whole rest of the game.
Freaking out, man.
The other thing that is real cool that we should talk about is the Warscroll Citadel.
Yes.
Let's show this guy out.
Yeah, this is kind of a big deal. This is basically the thing all of the factions have been fighting over on top, the Comet's land, and this is the thing that they've been fighting over, the study area. There
was a story earlier this week about what you can do from within.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about these guys. They are.
It is a terrain feature first off.
Absolutely.
So it's got keyword scenery, building, Warscroll Citadel. Those are the 3 keywords. You can garrison units in here, which we won't get into, but it's got a chart.
Yes. If a hero is garrisoned within the building, you can roll on this chart to get to do all kinds of cool things. There are 6 different results that you can get, unsurprisingly, which include things like Sinister Visions. Pick an enemy unit within 18 inches of the Warscroll Citadel and subtract 1 from their bravery. Not necessarily the best thing.
Again, that's wholly within as well. So wholly within 18 inches, and it's until your next hero phase. Which bravery chest, they can make you lose models. So that's one extra model that could take off. So,
or you could get something like Divine Inspiration, where you pick a friendly hero that is within 18 inches of the Warscroll Citadel and can immediately use a command ability from them.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
As those command abilities, being able to use a command ability twice
Yeah.
is really nice. But also like having your other heroes be able to use theirs is
being able to not have more than just your general do special stuff
which is
pretty cool.
And of course we get the pitch battle points, which we won't go over here, but all of them are right around 100 points.
Yeah.
One of them's a little over, the other two are 80 points. So, but they're all right around that
The 80 to 100.
80 to 120. So
yeah.
You can figure it out. But yeah, that's pretty much all we're going to go over with Malign Portents. We think this is a great little addition to the game.
It brings a lot of narrative to the Age of Sigmar, which is something that it's kind of been missing out on.
Yeah, not that there's not a lot of lore, because there is actually a lot of backstory.
Oh, sure, there is.
But this adds just a different spin on that from the point of view of how people perceive Nagash and his plans.
Yeah,
which
it gives it a different trajectory.
And it really does raise Nagash to a much bigger villain than I think we've had in the past. One last thing I want to mention about this book is it does talk about the big upside down, the inverted pyramid, and we're not going to cover that because we're running out of time. But it's such a cool concept of what he's been able to do that JR has been chomping at the bit to show off this book. Boom, which is up next. So stay tuned. I'm Adam here from BoLS.
I'm JR.
Thanks for watching. Click to subscribe. Support us on Patreon. Check out more videos. And thanks for watching.